Hello, and welcome to a very exciting day. It's Patch Note Day for Legion, the newest expansion in EVE Online, coming this Tuesday. So, patch notes just released, very exciting. There is a lot of really good, interesting things about them. And what we're going to do today is just go through the patch notes, talk about them. I'm going to give you a little bit more context if in case you don't know. And there's a lot of really cool stuff. I will say I'm really excited for this. So I guess let's go ahead and just dive right in. To start, though, actually, before we dive right in, let's talk about my thoughts. This expansion. To me, an expansion means new content, right? Something big, something changing, something adding on. I'll go ahead and say the only new kind of stuff that we're getting in this expansion is going to be freelance jobs, which is a new module we'll talk about here shortly, and two new ships, being the Barbaroga and the Sarathu, which we will also talk about. But aside from that, this expansion feels a lot more like an update. And that's kind of why we're doing in this video in this format. So normally for expansions, I'll have like a nice video. I'll have a bunch of all the new different things we'll go over. I'll showcase them on whatnot. But today we're going to be talking about the patch notes. I will be making a standalone video for the freelance module because that is definitely new. And I definitely might be making a video about the Barbaroga, maybe like showcasing it in a C5 because I do have Sissy access right now. So maybe get you a little bit extra on that, which that should be posted on Tuesday. So keep an eye out for that. But now with that kind of out of the way, let's talk about the patch notes. Let's talk about the expansion. Let's talk about the major update, the super major update, as we'll call it. All right. Legion is arriving next week on Tuesday at 1100 UTC. And the first and foremost thing that we're going to be talking about here is freelance jobs. Again, because I'll have a whole video about freelance jobs showcasing how to set them up, how to do them, what they could be useful for. We'll go into more detail there. But the short version of it is freelance jobs are a new way corporations can make projects that people outside of the corporation can do and accept. And they are highly targeted at new players as a recruiting tool. That's not to say that you can't utilize these for other resources or other reasons, but their primary mission statement is to be used as a recruiting tool for new players. Get them immediately from the tutorial, the career agent missions into a corporation, into groups as fast as possible. I actually have a corporation dedicated to new players called The Nth Dimension. Don't forget the, because there's another corp called Nth Dimension. But if you're a new player or if you're interested in joining a corporation that is focusing on helping newer capsuleers, go ahead, check us out. But these freelance projects, jobs are designed for new players to accept something and kind of start to get a contact, start to get a appreciation and talking with these corporations that might be looking for them. And it's going to be really simple things like kill some pirates. I think maybe gain LP. It should actually tell us if we just read the patch notes, it'll probably tell us the things that they can do. You're going to be able to find them in the air opportunities as well as the corporation show info window. Makes sense. Capsuleers can browse nearby opportunities, and they're okay. Quick note, again, we're going to cover this in the whole video, but you need to set up like broadcasting offices, and then your freelance jobs are going to emanate within 5 jumps of those broadcasting offices. You can have up to 3 freelance jobs active at the same time, but you can resign from them at any time if you want to accept new ones. So this is for if you are accepting freelance jobs, you can have up to 3. If you are the corporation, I believe you can have 100 active freelance jobs, which Sounds like a whole lot, more than you would probably ever need. After accepting a job and contributing to it, you earn ISK rewards by assigning the job creator automatically. You still probably have to click the claim button, but we'll check that out. Earn rewards need to be claimed. Yeah, from the rewards and the opportunities. Okay, yeah. And here is a nice little picture of your job board, we'll call it. Interesting that they can just show up in different languages. I imagine the majority of them will be in English, but I wonder if you could filter that out. But here we have like ratting subsidiary, mining challenge, kill the enemies, mine Veldspar, help us raise the ADM, kill Amar in a war zone. So if you're trying to promote your war zone, you can just, even for like neutral players, as long as they kill Amar people in the faction war zone, then you're good to go. But there's a few different options of like sample jobs, but they are pretty freaking simple. There's only a few options like killing, mining. I don't believe there's delivery yet. They're working on that. And again, like if you thought this was going to be like a huge thing for people that are not like recruiting new bros, it's not. But if you are interested in recruiting new bros or doing kind of something like that, then yeah, it's a cool tool for sure. You just gotta you gotta know what you're getting into. Okay. So job creation. The interface is similar to existing corporation projects. You need a project manager role. You can have up to 100. For your job to be visible in the opportunities, you need to have it broadcasting from one of your corp offices, and that's 5 jump range. Each job can have 20 broadcast locations. Issuing a new job has a cost of 100,000 ISK per day of a job's duration, so that's pretty minimal. Broadcasting a new job has a cost of 150,000 ISK per day per broadcasting location. So if I'm broadcasting it I'm going to broadcast my freelance jobs in about 12 locations because those are going to be the starter systems. That's going to be a little over like $1.5 million, maybe probably 2 million ISK a day, which is actually going to add up to be quite a lot because that's also per job. I don't think I like that, but it is what it is. Administrative controls, removing capsuleers from jobs. Okay, if someone just took a job slot and you just are not doing anything, I guess, or they're being malicious. Participant view to track contributions. That's nice. The minimum job duration is 15 minutes. The maximum job duration is 1 year. Does this mean that you have to have a job duration? Probably. Whereas corp projects, you don't need a duration. Security and access control, age-based restriction. You can restrict your job so that only character of a certain EVE age can access it. So if they're like 2 weeks are younger or 2 weeks are older, you can filter it by that. And it's useful for creating jobs that target new players for recruitment purposes or only older characters if needed. Here we got another picture of these are the freelance jobs for this corporation. Oh, look, it looks like it's showing in the corporation information. So you can now go like the description of the corp, the attributes, and then at the end, the freelance jobs of that corporation. That's cool. I do like that. Okay, here are the available contribution methods. Ship insurance, which is just if they lose a ship, then you're going to SRP them. Mine materials, and keep in mind that this is just if they mine the materials, then they get paid, not mine and deliver the materials. Deliver is a different thing. So this is just if someone mines, then you're going to pay them money. Damage capsuleers, and you can kind of specify. So like you could have a freelance job that is like damage nth dimensional. This is like bounties. Okay, hold on. You can start putting freelance job bounties on certain individuals or certain corporations. That's pretty cool. Capture faction warfare complexes, defend faction warfare complexes. So if you're just trying to help the war front, help dictate where people should be going, you can do that outside of your corporation, because you don't have to be a corporation to be in faction warfare anymore. I could definitely see these getting some uses for those that are more invested in the faction warfare and like trying to control or trying to move directives. And then destroy non-capsuleers. This is just if someone's going to go ratting, then you can pay them to rat. You can pay them to rat in specific areas if you want, which could like raise ADMs. And then more contribution methods coming soon. That will be great. I think we really need a lot more, maybe not a lot more, but we need more contribution methods for sure, both in corp projects and freelance projects. And something that has really been a pain point for me for projects is if I make a project, I have to set like how much money I'm putting into it or how many things that I want, and I can never update it. So you're going to have to like make a project, run all the way through it, and then remake the projects instead of just like updating the projects or like putting more money into them so they keep happening. All right. Next is the corporation palette. So again, this is currently only useful for freelance jobs. This is the only place that it is going to show up. However, in the future, this is kind of like a foundational ground floor stable thing that the corporation palette or things like that kind of use this technology will be able to be broadcasted elsewhere. So like you will eventually be able to see your corporation palette in like your systems that you are, your stations that you own, on billboards, on ships, things like that. But right now it's pretty located to just freelance jobs and I think corporation jobs as well. Brand managers are able to assign between 1 to 3 custom colors, and this is full color spectrum, which is really good. If you don't know, right now the color selection is like 10. There's like 10 colors you can choose from, and they're kind of weird and shitty. But this is definitely a big, huge upgrade that now we can have custom colors. And they will be represented in 2 key places, corporation window and freelance jobs, only those created by corporations. Yep. A brand manager section in the corporation window. You'll find anything related to your corp's visual identity here, logo, structure, skinner, and now corporation palette. Okay, so they're making things a little bit easier to find and access because it can be a headache finding the specific thing in the specific area, especially for corporation management. Ask me how I know. It's because I'm working on the new corp. Paragon Hub. Base sequencing, so this is Skinner stuff. Base sequencing timers in Skinner are temporarily set to 10 minutes. They are still affected by skills. Times will go back to their original times on June 16th. Okay, so if you're looking to do some more new Skinner stuff, right now the time is drastically reduced, which is really cool because you can churn out some new corp skins if you're interested in that. I think I might be actually doing that myself. Here we have an Omega benefit window. This I don't like. This reeks of shitty enticing people to pay for Omega, which I mean, I guess as a company that's fine, but just don't put it into your fucking faces all this friggin' time. And hopefully this is not super intrusive. But they are now introducing an Omega benefit window, giving Omega a fresh look and designing to help capsuleers understand and take full advantage of the Omega clone state. So if you don't know what Omega does, we can just look here. The Elite Advantage. You get double the training speed. You get access to all skills. You get multi-account login, which is not multi-character login. It's multi-account. So if you have multiple accounts, you can log them in at the same time, multi-boxing. And access to all ships. So you can train all ships. Looks like you get 1 month Omega plus a bonus item. And what's included in this pack? I guess these are your bonus items. Hopefully you can hover over these. You can upgrade or get more offers. Fucking $20 for USD, or you can switch it to Plex. or you can wait until a sale, and you could buy it cheaper on Marquee Dragon or the Eve store. And don't forget to use code NTH, that's NTH at checkout, to help support me making more content for you. Thank you for that little promotion. You get a detailed breakdown of Omega benefits, a streamlined offer section where you can view and purchase Omega time and subscriptions, whether it's real currency or Plex, and your clone status, so you always know where you stand. They're also putting Omega in Neocom, a direct access to the benefits window from the Neocom. This will be visible to alpha clones as a persistent reminder of what Omega can offer. And that's kind of what rubs me a little bit the wrong way. We don't need to be shoving it in the face of alpha players all the fucking time. I think that the game is incredibly fun and enjoyable, maybe even more so for certain individuals as an alpha pilot, because if you do not have the fiat currency to be able to realistically afford Omega, then you can try and grind the ISK in game, but keep in mind that's like a 3 to 4 billion tax or expense every month on your game. And it's probably more fun to just be flying an alpha pilot than it is to waste a lot of hours, especially if you're newer into the game, trying to grind up that Omega. Eventually, it gets pretty easy, pretty trivial to grind Omega status once you get a little bit more knowledge and learning and experience. But you definitely don't want to try and grind it out too soon, because then it is far too much of a Eve as a second job, which we try to avoid at all cost. Fun per hour is for sure the most important. And hopefully this always persistent reminder of what you're missing out on isn't too much of a kicking them while they're an alpha, because that would feel shitty, but it feels like something a company would do in this day and age. All right. They're also giving Omega clones nearing expiration a timely reminder. That way you're always subbing. Don't forget to sub. And fully subscribed Omega Absoluters can still access the benefit windows through the Neocom menu. Oh boy. All right. Now, the cool update. I'm not going to call it a new thing because it's not. It's an update to the new map. So the New Eden map. It's being received a usability update focused on making its features easier to access and interact with. Filters are now quicker to reach, map tools are more visible, and new quick action buttons have been added to streamline common tasks. While more changes are planned for the future, this iteration aims to improve day-to-day interaction with the map, reduce friction, and update the underlying UX user experience foundation to better support future improvements. So here we have a nice little picture of the map. It looks a little bit better. We got some new fancy stuff up here. And we also, most importantly, have this stuff down here. And these are all of your filters. You're probably pretty familiar, or maybe you're not actually, with map filters. They can show things like where my corporation members are, how many people are docked in space, how many people are ratting, how many pod kills have happened recently, what is the SOV owners, what are the regions, who controls what, where's faction warfare. You could filter out a lot of different cool things. And actually, I was recently talking with a new player who I had to direct to show where the little fucking cog was to access all of these filters. And now the fact that they are all nice and cool looking down here on the bottom will make it definitely a lot easier to start getting involved and invested in using the map to find whatever you are most interested in. And even better is that with these new buttons, you can add whatever ones you want as your favorites. So it looks like this is probably your favorite icon. So you can add favorites. You can get rid of these icons if you want. You can show them if you want. And then you can just have a nice customized to your flavor, for your liking, all of the things, easy access to being able to filter the map to see a lot more cool things, a lot more quicker, a lot more reliable. So that's pretty cool with the new map. Let's talk about what has changed. Filters can now be accessed through the new filter bar located at the bottom. Players can now add filters to their favorites. Filter bar can be customized by right-clicking it. We talked about that. 2 new quick action buttons have been added to the bottom right of the map. Players can use them to instantly refocus the camera on either their current location or their home station. So that's, I guess, pretty good. It does mean people need to find these buttons. New players have a hard time finding buttons that they can click on. I know because I've talked to a lot of them. So hopefully they are prominent enough, but also not so in your face that once you know where they are taking too much real estate. It's a balancing act for sure, but hopefully those work nicely, because I imagine they will be most useful for new players. Or hopefully we could just choose a button to get rid of them or not get rid of them. Next, we have a view mode toggle shown as a circled A icon. Lets players switch between the standard 3D and a more abstract. Okay, most everyone is using the abstract. It's what it defaults to, but if you want to make it more depthy, then you can. New layout panel in the bottom left corner gives players more control over how the map is displayed. Options include grouping by system, constellation, region. That's good. Highlighting connection lines between systems at different levels. So this is like what your different like lines look like with the dotted and whatnot. Choosing which jump bridge links are visible on the map. Again, we already have all this features, but now I guess they have it in a new layout panel. Next, we have the selected location is shown at the top center of the map. From there, players can focus on higher level location or quickly set destination and add waypoint using new quick action buttons. So there is also a hotkey. You can use Shift and Control Shift to just click on systems, and that will make your waypoints and destinations. So, and then lastly, we got the map interface is now responsive with improvements to how it behaves in minimize, floating, and full screen modes. Okay, good. And the pointer window now allows players to browse available filters and share them in chat with other capsuleers. Ooh, okay, that's actually excellent as well. That will be helpful for pointing out what you are looking for new players, so they can find things easier. Love me a lot more pointer window options. Next, we got sovereignty/equinox. So there's going to be a lot of Sov/equinox like upgrades and modules and changings to these buildings. Upgrades that you can install in Sovereignty Hub are no longer limited by the maximum potential power of the solar system. This means that you could, for example, have all 7 mineral types upgraded installed now and swap between them through reprioritizing or offlining/onlining them, rather than needing to destroy them and install new ones. Oh, that's a really nice bonus. So previously they acted like rigs. Now they act like rigs, but you can put more of them in. So that's good. We're also introducing a new Sov upgrade that can generate undetected relic and data signatures. So we'll look at these. Says this limited detector allows ship scanners to pick up a few undetected relic and data signatures for probe scanning within a system. This is a moderate number, and this is many. So these actually function like they are going to, actually it's just going to explain it here. So we'll just read this. These 3 tiers of exploration upgrades will have a combination of data and relic sites and will be available from the Angel Cartel, Blood Raiders, Gurista Pirates, Sancha, Serpentis, and Rogue Drone factions. Interesting. I'm wondering if we can, like if I'm in Blood Raider space, can I put in a Sancha hub and then get Sancha stuff? That'll be interesting. These exploration upgrades have a guaranteed chance to spawn several exploration sites between 0 and 5 jumps from the solar system where the upgrade is installed. And even better, these exploration sites spawned from the Sov upgrade all have a small chance to escalate to a brand new data and relic escalation with the potential for high rewards. These exclusive rewards from the data escalation include blueprint copies for the powerful new Zerassir storyline modules for micro jump drives, reactive armor hardeners, ancillary shield boosters, and armor repairs. So that is pretty huge. And if you don't know, storyline modules typically, not always, but most of the time, are for fitting purposes. So they'll have better fitting requirements. So you're going to be able to squeeze just these extra modules and make your fits just even tighter than they already were, or free up room for making something beefier. The new hacking focused wedged implant as well, and the tri-plot scan acquisition array. So you're going to get a whole new implant set for hacking. Previously, we had just the one for scanning. Now we get an implant set for hacking. That's going to be pretty cool. If you need the bonuses, we'll see. Maybe if you use this implant set, you don't need to be using Zegmas and black glasses. We'll see how it all plays out. And then the triplot scan acquisition array, which is going to be maybe nice on some ships. We'll see how it all shakes out. The higher tier upgrades have an increased number of sites and faster respawn times. And also, it doesn't really say it here, but these sites are new exploration sites, never before seen. And you can only get them if you are part of Sov Null and they put in this upgrade system. So I really don't like this fact, because it kind of goes against like the idea of exploration, because you are using your Sov Null powers to make exploration sites spawn right next to you, and you're going to know where these are installed, but people outside of your Sov Null are not going to know where they're installed. So you're just going to have a much better likelihood and chance of like getting exploration bonuses if you're part of nullsec now, instead of like actually just going and exploring and finding new random things. So I don't like that at all. I do like new exploration content. I don't like how they have limited it to just give another bone to nullsecers, as it was. All right. And then now we have resource generation upgrades. So we're also introducing 2 new Sov upgrades that can generate colony resources by utilizing other colony resources. So if you have a system that sucks, that has an overabundance of something and an underabundance of another thing, you can now change things into other things. So this is going to be increasing the power input output at the cost of workforce. And this is going to use power to increase workforce. So you can switch them, vice versa, and make systems that are previously unusable usable again. It's also available in 3 tiers. So depending on how much you need, you can do it at whatever your leisure is. And that's going to be a nice quality of life for Sov owners for sure. And I do like that for sure. Next, we have this is a new thing. This is system effect generator upgrades. So you can now turn your system into a particular flavor of system. So as you guys know, like wormholes are, they have different flavors of wormholes, like black holes and pulsars. And there's also the storms that happen in nullsec, like the electric storm and the red gamma storm, I think it's called. But now you can kind of make your own weather patterns. So here we have all systems. Actually, it's just gonna, if we just go down, it's gonna explain it better here. We have the electric stability generator. It produces a system-wide effect similar to those encountered in electric environments in abyssal dead space, which is they're going to have 25% capacitor recharge bonus and 25% targeting range and D-scan range. This is the only way to make D-scan range further. And it's new, it's exciting, it's interesting, it's weird. Who knows if we actually like it, but that is definitely something to note. Next, we have the exotic which is 25% scan resolution. You can target things faster, and you can warp faster, +2 AU speed. Next is Gamma, which is 5% shield HP, 5% shield booster effectiveness, and 10% capacitor capacity. So this is just a farmer's dream. You're going to be tankier, harder to kill. It's going to be harder for evil ne'er-do-well pirates to come and gank you. Also, on top of this, we'll talk about it here when it actually comes up in patch notes, but with the reversal of the Surge Strike, all of your resistance modules are getting a huge buff. So with these combined, your Ishtars are going to be really safe, especially against like solo pilots, solo roamers. I think solo roamers are going to have a really hard time here in the near future, which is a whole thing on its own. But with this generator, if you have like a farming system, you're probably going to put this weather in, and you're going to have a nice time there. And then we have the plasma, which is basically the reverse for armor instead of shield, which again, it's going to be all the same benefits and bonuses of like if you're flying armor ships, they're going to be tankier, and yeah, have a good time, be less ganky. All right, moving on to the Skyhook cost of conquest. So previously, Skyhooks are pretty new things. They put them in. If you're going to conquest an area, you need to destroy all of them, and you need to reset up all of your Skyhooks. However, now they realized that's fucking dumb, and that's a waste of time for everyone involved. So now, once you take over the SOV of a system, you can pay to convert all of the Skyhooks over to your Skyhooks. So that's a real nice quality of life there. It means there's less time just bashing structures, which, does anyone actually enjoy bashing structures? I know I don't. But yeah. Next, we have the Equinox blueprint conversion. So this is just turning all of your old defunct SOV blueprints into the cool new blueprints that work now. And there's a whole big list if you're interested. All right, moving on to the new Triglavian Marauder, the Babaroga. It is really fucking cool. Is it the coolest thing in this expansion? I think probably yes. So you're getting optimal range and tracking speed and damage. This is a trifecta of pain. It's going to shoot far. It's going to track well. It's going to do a lot of damage. This is kind of the problem that the Vargar has. This ship is going to be immensely powerful with these bonuses. And on top of it, you get an armor repair bonus as well. You also get your Marauder / Triglavian roll bonuses. So you're getting remote repair range, energy neutralizer capacity, because you also have utility high slots, probably more utility high slots than all of the other Marauders. You get remote armor capacitor need, smart bomb capacitor need, which is going to be really good for doing wormhole content. Tractor beam range, micro jump drive reactivation delay, and can fit Bastion modules, which are it's what makes the Marauders nice and OP. Big old Bastion modules, and the jump drive is really nice. Very good bonus there. Blueprint copies of the Babaroga can be obtained by performing invention jobs on the Leshak. If you don't already have your Leshak PPCs, you're late to the rush. They're probably really expensive right now. So if you were looking to be one of the first Babaroga pilots or creators, hopefully you already got all the materials that you need. And here we can watch a nice little video of the Babaroga just shooting, getting shot at, having a good old time. All right. Now we have the Angel Dreadnought, the Sarathu. So this is a really cool dreadnought. If you guys don't know, the Angel line is basically complete at this point. They have a frigate, destroyer, cruiser, battleship, uh, dreadnought. Do they have a carrier? No, they have a Titan. They don't have a fax. Okay, but yeah, they're getting pretty much completed there. And what these ships are known for, what the Angel ships are known for, is being fast, nimble, agile, projectile turrets that do a lot of quick, fast moving damage. And they're really fun. They're some of my favorite ships in the entire game. So big ups to the Angel Cartel ships. And the Sarathu is no different, because we're going to go ahead and start with its most important thing. It can move at 10% velocity while in siege mode. It can move. And 10% may seem like not a lot. And to be fair, it's not a lot, but any movement is really good for these dreadnoughts. And because it can move, it can activate its jump drive in siege mode. It can move hundreds of kilometers while in siege, which is huge. This thing can get into position, siege up, blow up a target, be fast about doing it, jump away to safety, and it's going to be a lot harder to catch. It's going to be a lot more survivable. It's going to be really cool in the hit and run tactics. I'm very excited for the Sarathu's. If I ever pilot one, to be fair, I probably won't. But I just do really like it as a concept of a ship. I'm not much of a capital pilot myself. So it's got 10% fall off bonuses and 10% damage bonuses. 2 of the Holy Trifecta of damage, fall off, and tracking. But because you're using autocannons, they already have pretty great tracking. So shouldn't be a problem there. And then, of course, you got your warp speed and warp acceleration. That's just a bonus for all of the Angel Cartel ships. You get a flat bonus to damage. And yeah, it's real fucking good. Here we can watch a nice little video of it. Oh, and we're watching, it's using a jump drive. So this is the effect for the micro jump drive. And then you can see that it goes boop. And it's no longer there. It's no longer there. No longer in harm's way. You'll love to see it. All right. Moving on to balance changes. And there's a lot of them, and they're a doozy, and it's really great. They are reducing the LP and IS cost of the Cayman and Vehement by 50%. This is huge. 50%, because these things were very expensive. To be fair, they still are pretty freaking expensive. They were 25 billion ISK and 25 million LP. And they slashed that half the cost to 12.5 billion and 12.5 million. They also are improving them. Not only are they cheaper, but they're better. They're increasing their fighter tubes from 1 to 2. They are getting more shield hit points, reduction in armor hit points, and their fighter capacity is increasing from a mere 25,000 to 40,000. So your fighters are going to be a lot better, and you're getting a little bit tankier as well on the whole. Then you also got the Shermash. It's getting a new role bonus added, which is the capital energy NOS fitted to the ship ignores the target signature resolution. So it doesn't matter how tiny your ship is. If this thing wants to nuke you, you are going to be out of capacitor. Just get fucked. Go, do not pass go. Do not move at all because you have no capacitor. Also gets a roll bonus for capital energy turret, increasing from 25% to 37%, so making it even stronger, and increasing the armor hit points while reducing the structure hit points, so just making it have a little bit more armor buffer, so it can be repped a little bit longer in your armor, or have more buffer to rep. And then lastly, we got the Vehement, which has a new roll bonus for the capital hybrid turret. Oh, not a new one, just increasing one from 37.5 to 50%. So making that even more deadly as well. You'll have to see some deadly caps because everything is getting stronger because of the resistance buffs, but everything is also getting, or the things that should be deadly is getting more deadly to compensate for that. All right, now remote repairs. This is a really big important patch change. Added a 10% bonus when heating to all remote armor, shield, and mute adaptive of repairs. This is in addition to the cycle time bonus they currently have while heated. So it's just elevating that skill ceiling of when you use heated modules, when you really need to save someone. With Logi, with repping, generally this is going to be at the start of a fight when the damage is like really the maximum that it's going to be for the whole fight. But that's cool. I really do like that. And T3Cs are getting a not a this is worded weirdly. They're not getting like any actual bonuses. They're just stating that this goes along with the overheated bonuses of the T3Cs. So you get even more while doing T3C Logi rep, which brings us on to our next point. I'm going to immediately talk about this and then we'll move back up. Strategic Cruisers Offensive Support Subsystem. All of the Logi supports, T3Cs, are getting extra power grid. So Logi T3Cs are getting a nice big buff. And so I imagine we're going to be seeing even more of them. They're already pretty good. They also give like command boost, but I think it's really cool. I think it gives a nice real Logi choice for your T3Cs. Moving up, not only are the T3Cs getting Logi improvements, but the Logi cruisers are also getting Logi improvements. So most / all of them are making it so we'll just go through them. So Oneros is getting a new bonus, which is reduction in armor mass penalty. So they're going to move faster, which is going to increase their survivability. They are increasing their speed, they are increasing their agility, and they are reducing their signature radius. So they're moving faster, they're smaller targets, they're harder to kill. This is cool. This is good. Scimitar is getting a shield extender signature radius penalty. It also means that you can buffer fit them instead of active repair them. Because you are getting a reduction in your signature radius penalty. So whenever you put on a shield buffer, it makes it easier to hit you, but this is making it harder for them to hit you. Basilisk is getting the bonus to shield hit points and shield extenders bonuses. So buffer fit is better and it just has naturally more buffer. Base speed is increasing and signature radius is reducing. So they're harder to hit and they have more life. And on top of this, don't ever forget the surgical strike reduction or the more resistance modules. Your resistance modules are improving more resistances. So things are, on the whole, everything is going to be a good bit more tanky, which means things are going to be alpha'd less. You're going to need N+2 now to alpha something. So it's going to make battles last longer. It's going to make Logi more important. All of this is going to be pretty cool for the whole meta, I think. Guardians get the plate bonus. Oh, they get more. Wow. Guardians are getting a 7.5 bonus to armor hit points gained from armor plates. Guardians are already brick shit houses. So this is making them even more brick shit houses. So that's pretty interesting. Zarmazad is getting a bonus to armor hit points for armor plates. So same thing as the Guardian. And then the Etna and Rabisu, these are AT ships, so we don't really care about them, but they are getting beefier and beefier. We talked about the strategic cruisers. Now we can talk about the Savior Implant set. It is now granting an equal amount of reduced capacitor need for remote repairs alongside the reduced cycle time bonus it already has. This will mean that saviors will no longer increase the capacitor cost per second needed to sustain the higher remote repair throughput they provide to subcapital remote repair modules. That is a paragraph. The Savior implant was powerful in some circumstances on some specific ships, like the Nestor and Zarmazad, but was difficult to utilize on other remote repair support ships due to increasing the capacitor burden to maintain the remote reps, and had too high of an opportunity cost since you were giving up potentially useful sets. Implants you could have in their place like snakes, amulets, nirvanas, etc. This should make them a more viable option on a lot more logistic ships. Okay, I like that blurb. That is a good, helpful, useful blurb for us to understand the Savior now. The Savior implant will help you save people, and it will be useful on Logi cruisers instead of just weird Logi ships. Okay, now we got another confusing thing here. The remote repair diminishing returns adjustment. Basically, no one knows or understands or cares, but the more reps you have on a target, the less those reps do. And it only really comes into play, if we look at this graph, when you have a lot of reps on a target. So if you have like 20 reps, then this is like if there was no diminishing returns. This blue line is what the current diminishing returns are, and this yellow line is what the new diminishing returns are. So only until you get like 40 reps on a single target are you really seeing much of a difference, maybe like 10% of a difference here. But they made it so that you are getting more of your effective reps than you were before. We've relaxed the diminishing returns formula, so the formula is now slightly less aggressive, and so ships will receive a higher amount of HP per second when getting repaired by multiple logistic ships at once. Included below is a graph showing the updated formula compared to TQ. Yep. As an example, for a target getting remote repaired by 100 capital T2 remote repair modules, 33 faxes and some change, TQ right now you're getting 78 HP a second, and Legion you're getting 97. So you're getting like 20 more thousand, which is just an increase of under 25%. Cool. Moving on to cruisers. My bread and butter should be your bread and butter too. Cruisers are really great. I love them. The Thorax is getting a power output improved, so you're going to be able to fit more things on it, and its maximum velocity is being improved to 250 meters a second instead of 240. We're giving the Thorax a bit more thrust and making it feel less tight by improving the power grid. It'll also be easier to fit higher caliber weapons, have an easier time getting in range for blasters. Nice. Thorax is just a good solid T1 ship, so now it's just a little bit better. The Rupture is getting a medium projectile damage bonus per Mimitar cruiser, is increasing from 5 to 10%, doubling it. That's pretty good. And the rate of fire is medium projectile rate of fire bonus for Mimitar cruiser replaced with 7.5% bonus to medium projectile tracking speed. So instead of, so it used to fire and do more damage. Now it just does more damage, which is fine. They basically wrapped that all up into one bonus, and they are now giving it projectile tracking speed. So it's going to be better at shooting down, better shooting destroyers and frigates. So it's getting a little bit more specialized. And then the drone bay and bandwidth improved from 30 to 40. So you can now, I would probably just run, a lot of people just run 5 light drones and don't worry about the extra 5 megabits a second. I'm curious if people are still going to just use 5 light drones. I probably would. But maybe for certain PvE situations, you could run like 3 mediums and 2 lights if you're just like a PvE or I don't know. We'll see. Rupture felt too similar to the Stabber and was overshadowed by it. In most cases, despite having 2 damage bonuses, it actually dealt less DPS overall than the Stabber. since the stabber has a fall off bonus and the stabber also has an additional missile hardpoint. So we're slightly reworking the rupture by replacing the projectile rate of fire with a tracking bonus and rolling the rate of fire damage bonus into the direct damage bonus it has. Yep, we talked about that. This should make the rupture a more viable alternative to the stabber when comparing short range autocannon fits by giving it a tracking advantage when brawling and improves on the existing strength that it had with artillery fits by improving the alpha and giving it a tracking bonus. Yeah. So it's going to be able to hit harder with its artilleries, and it's going to be able to shoot down / if it's brawling and having a high traversal, it's going to be working out better there. So I do like that. It's giving a little bit more identity to the rupture for sure. Next, we have the Secure Navy issue, still an incredibly good ship. Damage bonus per level is reduced from 20 to 17.5. That makes sense. It's just really, really good. It's still overperforming and still the single most used Navy cruiser hull, even after adjustments in Revenant, giving it a small slap on the wrist and continuing to monitor it. Makes sense, makes sense. Battle cruisers, the Merm Navy issue, nice, cool ship. It's getting an increased cargo capacity, interesting, but nice. Bonus to the strength of web drones now also grants a 10% bonus to the web drone hit points per level of Galente battlecruiser. Web drones are still fucking web drones, my dude. I don't know. I don't think this is going to change anything. It seems like a weird change. I guess it's good that they have more hit points so people can't defang them as well. Sure, why not? Harby Navy issue. It's a perfectly fine ship. The Merm Navy issue is a perfectly fine ship even without the web drones. So it's whatever. The Harb Navy issue added a new bonus for 10% reduction to the capacitor costs of medium energy turrets per level of Omar battlecruiser. Probably because it was having big capacitor issues because lasers, typically, and Omar ships have capacitor issues. Both the Merm and Harb are still being flown much less than all the other Navy combat battlecruisers, even after a small set of buffs we made in Revenant, so we're giving them some more love. Merm Navy issue had a smaller cargo hold than mini cruisers, despite having a big focus on active tanking. Oh, so those are for charges. So we're giving it room for a lot more cap charges or whatever else you might like, and adding some more hit points to web drones so they can't be killed off so fast. The Harb Navy, on the other hand, loses the energy turret cap bonus from the regular Harb hull, which can make a lot more reliant on capacitor, so by bringing the bonus back as an extra third bonus, we're hoping it'll be more attractive in both PvE and PvP. Makes sense, makes good stuff. Mining barges. They updated the reprocessed materials on mining barges, so now they match the ship blueprints. This will mean that mining barges will have more accurate and better insurance payouts. Well, considering that a lot of mining barges do get exploded, they are a prime target for explosions. It's good that the insurance is better for them. Always insure your mining barge, especially now. Faction warfare and insurgencies. Reduce the amount of scorched navigation log items needed to turn in for the Navy scanning upgrade blueprint copy crates from 100 to 10. Wow, I guess they really were not selling well. That is a 10-fold decrease. And we get one quality of life improvement. Yay, one quality of life. It is now possible to see how damaged a laser crystal is in your inventory in the tooltip by hovering your mouse cursor over it. Ooh, exciting. Surgical strike. They increase the resist. Okay, so here, this should have been at the very top of all of the patch notes. Surgical strike. This changes everything in the entire game for everyone. PvE, PvP, mining, abyssals, exploration. Increase the resistances of energized membranes, armor coatings, armor hardeners, shield hardeners, and shield amplifiers by around 11%. This is a full rollback of the surgical strike resistance nerfs. This makes every ship in the game a lot more tanky, assuming you use one of these hardeners or resisting, which you pretty much always should be. So T6 abyssals, easier. Home fronts, easier. C5 wormholes, easier. C6 wormholes, easier. PvP, live longer. fights last longer. You're going to need more capacitor to stay alive longer. You're going to need more logistics ships because you're going to actually be able to not get alphaed off the field as easily. This is probably the biggest change of the entire patch. Can't underhand that enough. So be ready for it. Moving on, Titans and Supercarriers. The big boys. For the 5 people that care about this, we're increasing the damage of a single Titan Doomsday weapon from 2,400,000 to 2.4 million to 2 million. Added a new skill book, Advanced Doomsday Operation, which increases the damage of Titan super weapon by 7.5 points per skill level, because of course it wouldn't be an EVE expansion or patch or update without a new skill to waste your SP on. I really hate the skill proliferation of EVE skill books, but what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? You gotta get people to spend SP on something, especially the people that are flying Titans and have already tons of skill points. So it's not the end of the world for this, but just in general, I don't like all of the new skill books. They're increasing the Titan armor plate and shield extender roll bonus to 500 from 300, so they're making them even more tanky, and increasing the super carrier armor plate shield extender from 400 to 400 from 200. So again, they want these ships to be more survivable, to be put out in space. They're going to say, oh, you're not at such a risk of dying because you are so big and tanky and strong. Surely you should field your Titan now. Do it. Do it. Yeah. And increasing the number of salvos a fighter has as follows: T1, T from 12 to 18, 15 to 20 for faction lights, T1, T2 heavies from 6 to 9, T1 long range from 2 to 3, T2 long range from 3 to 5. And reduce the damage applied by space superiority fighters attacking non-drones and non-fighters to 95% from 80%. Oh, okay. So those really only do a little bit now. Titan Doomsday weapons have not kept up with the metagame and have therefore been given a significant buff. The survivability of Titans and super characters has also been increased with stronger armor plates and shield extender bonuses. Combined, there should be more opportunities for the game's largest ships to actually take the field and make a difference. You're not just going to be a Titan coffin anymore, hopefully. Fighters will now be more sustainable during engagements, decreasing the time they spend being recalled and rearmed. Space superiority fighters were applying too well to subcapital ships and have therefore had their damage to these ships decreased without impacting their anti-fighter role. All right, and now the art, which is, there's some really cool art. 5 T1 cruisers have gotten a big art pass. So as I said earlier, I'll say it again, I'll say it forever. Cruisers are the bread and butter of EVE. Getting a cruiser, fly a cruiser, love a cruiser, they're great. List of redesigned cruisers: the Amar Maller and the T2 variants, the Sacrilege and Devoter. I love the Sacrilege, one of my favorite ships. Amar Omen and the faction and T2 variants, Omen Navy Issue and Zealot. The Galente Thorax, the Pirate faction, Special Edition, and T2 variants, the Vigilant, Cybele, Demios, and Phobos. And then the Galente Celestis and the T2 variants, Arazu and Lachesis. And lastly, but not leastly, really cool, probably my favorite redesign that I'm excited for, the Mimitar, Scythe, and Scimitar. They also improved the audio for all of these lovely repair stuff. The armor repair and remote armor repair, the hull repair and remote hull repair, the shield booster and remote shield booster, the armor hardener, and the shield hardener. So that's cool. Module sounds now play loop and stop correctly based on usage. Fixed issues with sound effect attenuation during camera zoom. Remote module systems improved to accommodate better audio integration. and increased variation on repeating sounds. So you're not hearing the same whoosh, 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 whoosh again and again and again. All right. We're excited to see what you do with the updates coming in Legion expansion, and we'd love for you to get involved in the discussion on the Discord or the EVE Online forums. That, my friends, is the patch notes for Legion. Again, as I said before, as I said at the start, I am very excited. I think this is a really cool expansion. I really like basically all of the things in it. I like that the game is getting easier, but also things are going to get fights are going to get longer. Like PvP fights are going to get longer. There's not going to be so much alpha shit. You're going to be able to fly around on the grid a little bit more on all calibers of ship tiers. And I personally really like the freelance jobs and the recruiting. Again, if you're interested, join the Nth Dimension as my corporation. If you are interested in getting new players invested and integrated into the world of EVE Online, that's pretty much all I got for you. Stay tuned for some of my specific videos for the expansion, which will probably come out on Tuesday. But I can't wait to see you guys all in space, fly interestingly, and enjoy the Babaruga. And comment down below if you're going to be flying one of them bad boys, or even better yet, if you're flying the Sarathu. Let me know. All right. Ciao for now. Have a great day.